Para summaries are generally easy if you know, well, in CAT, if you get 3 para summaries, 2 will be of moderate, easy or moderate level difficulty, 1 may be different. Your approach to para summary has to be the same. When you read the paragraph itself, before you look at the options, have the main points of the paragraph at your fingertips. That's rule number 1 of para summary. The correct option will have as many of these main points you remember at your fingertips, as many as possible, as far as possible in the same order. Alright? Also remember, identify the subject of the passage, of the paragraph. Is it talking about World War II? Is it talking about World War I? Is it talking about Americans' involvement? What is it doing? Is it talking about elephants? Is it talking about research on elephants? What's the subject? Alright? And the main points. The wrong option would give you something which is beyond the scope of the passage. Generally the wrong options would be beyond the scope of the passage. They'll give you extra information, or they will misrepresent a sentence that is given in the passage. Or generally remember, main point and then there are supporting points, examples, illustrations. These are supporting points. So in a wrong option, the supporting point would be given or portrayed as the main point. So you have to remember, is the subject, is he talking about cricket and has Virat Kohli or Rohit Sharma or Hardik Pandya been given as a support point? Or is the passage about Hardik Pandya or Rohit Sharma? You have to determine that when you are reading the passage before you look at the options. And that will make life easier. Even if the passage, the options are made to confuse you. So your best chance against in avoiding this confusion is to read the passage and have your summary ready here before you look at the options. Recent research suggests that some sharks have a smart strategy to gain access to the ocean's biggest buffet. Data from 2 great white sharks and 15 blue sharks as they travel the North Atlantic showed that they take advantage of eddies. Eddies formed from the southern edge carry cool water southward. Both white and blue sharks showed a marked preference for warm-hearted eddies. These warm eddies contain a high density of mesopelagic prey, acoustic surveys have shown. What's the passage talking about? Some sharks have a strategy. What is the strategy about? Gaining access to what the ocean has to offer in terms of their food. Buffet, the food. What is that? They they collected data from 2 great white sharks, 15 blue sharks. As they traveled through the North Atlantic, they found that some sharks, out of which great white and blue in the study, have a preference for eddies. They prefer to be in the eddies. Warm-hearted eddies. Why? Because warm-hearted eddies contain a high density of prey. Some sharks prefer eddies. Why? Eddies have a high density of prey, high density of the food that they like to eat. Simple. Let's look at the options. Very easy. You can easily get the options if you get the summary in your head before you look at the option. Otherwise, everything looks the same. Every option will look the same. I can guarantee that. Option 1, clever sharks. Is he talking about clever sharks? Some sharks have a clever strategy. Clever sharks means all clever sharks swim mostly in warm water eddies. So the subject is some sharks, not all sharks. The subject is some sharks, not all clever sharks. So 1 is off. Sharks have a clever strategy of being present in warm water eddies which contain more prey than cold water eddies. Number 1, again, are we talking of all sharks? Do they contain more than cold water? Actually, he hasn't said it, but he says warm water eddies have a high density of that. Some sharks cleverly swim in warm. Okay, I've got my some sharks here. So the subject is mentioned, swim in warm water eddies which have the most prey. Yes. Again here, sharks master plan of being all sharks again. So A, B and D refer to all sharks, sharks in general, which is not what we are talking about, which is not the results of the study. Study therefore carefully said some sharks because they studied 2 and 15 only. This much was part of their study. So they from there they said some sharks. Therefore we'll stick to the same sample of study and say some sharks. Clear? So 2 is the answer. C is the answer, I'm sorry.